Hello and welcome to this edition of the show. Haven't been around for a couple of weeks. Welcome back. We had Easter. Hope you had a great Easter. And
it was kind of nice to be off.
It was kind of nice to be off. And then last week I was in Disney World.
Yeah, but I was sitting here fixing a hole in my roof.
And I was hosting open mic night for him.
That's
so
right.
yeah,
Actually, yeah. I want to get to that. Stacy and I went to Disney World and ran, and we did a half marathon and a 5K, and was tired for a week after that. But getting to the running, here is a guy who knows more about running than I ever will.
yeah, but that would imply that I actually like it.
Well, yeah. Now that doesn't mean that he likes it. He just does a lot of it. And the man who most graciously sat in for me at hosting up a mic at Fountain City last week, which I give you a welcome handshake and a handshake for hosting up a mic for me. That was very awesome of you.
Oh, he hosted up a mic. I had my earphones off. I didn't hear it.
He sat in for me last week.
Wow.
Yeah, Jason Turner, everybody. Good friend of mine, a musician and a soldier in our great army. Tell me a little bit about your soldiering.
My soldierism?
Soldierism. I'm a civilian, y'all. I'm a musician. I'm an artist.
Well,
I have the utmost respect for the soldiers. Let me put it that way.
oh, wow, geez, where do I start? I've got 15 years in service so far.
Wow.
Originally joined in 1998, but 4-year break in service in between. So I mean, you do the math. You carry the one, and it turns out to be like 15 years of service. And I spent the entire time as a tank crewman.
Wow.
Yeah, and so came back to Benning, and after my little brief hiatus over at Fort Hood, and now I'm back over here. I'm in the training side of the house, so
Cool.
I'm learning how to train people. That's kind of fun. It's an adventure.
I bet. Tell me a little bit about working with tanks, because I mean,
And I have to make a comment before you get into the multifaceted part of Jason here. Speaking of tanks, when we have guests, I try to go onto their Facebook feeds and whatever to try to get to know him a little bit better. He's got the coolest thing. He's got like this luxury tank.
Oh, dude.
Oh, that was so cool. I saw that. But I didn't get a chance to see inside, but the outside looked like an Escalade on tracks.
Nice. So is that the modern luxuries of the military tank brigade?
Well, see, the cool thing is I wouldn't say it's cool. The funny thing is people who don't know any better, namely your civilians, they hear the term military grade and they're very impressed. Like, ooh, military grade. Oh, I have a military grade chassis on my truck. I have a military grade this for whatever camping gear. And the people don't realize that military grade is like the lowest grade possible because it's the lowest bidder.
Wow, that's a good point.
So no, just don't be impressed on what's military grade. Trust me, you want to go a few steps higher in commercial. It's always better than what we have.
So that military grade cell phone I got from Sprint 5 years ago.
Send it back.
It's in rubber case, just military grade. Well, thanks for that tip. I appreciate it.
I will think about that a little harder next time I see military grade.
I got rid of that albatross a long time ago.
But now the current tank, it's oh god, I've been on every version of this Abrams tank since the M1A1, and
wow.
The leaps and bounds in technology has been great. I just really wish General Dynamics would listen to us when we tell them what we want.
Right?
But other than that, it's a great tank. I don't want to speculate on how it stacks up with the other tanks in the world. All I know is ours is battle proven. Ours goes up to 11.
There you go. And that's got to be cool, though. So what do you do? I'm in the Army. I work with tanks. I mean, that's a solid sounding job right there.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you? I mean, because there's a lot of people who get assigned to different parts of whatever they're in, and they're maybe it sounds cool, but they're like, it kind of blows. How do you like working with tanks?
Well, this is one of the reasons why I came back after being out for 4 years. Finally had it with the 4 jobs I had in 4 years, mostly half of it working with the railroad industry, which also is a cool sounding job.
Right. Very.
Yeah, not so much. And so
Sorry, Casey Jones.
yeah. So I went back to, went through the recruiting process, coming back in, was at, the MEP station where they sat down and they look at your test scores, your aptitude scores, and be like, okay, well, what job do you want? Well, she looked at my aptitude score, and she's like, you can have any job you want. I'm like,
Wow.
I want my GD tank back. And she's like, no, really? I mean, anything? I'm like, no, I want my tank back. Give me my tank back.
Wow.
So I love tanking. Love tanks. Love soldiers. I wouldn't be doing it. I wouldn't still be doing it if I didn't love it.
Right.
Yeah. Now, it doesn't mean there's, bad days because tanks will break sitting still. There's nothing light on them when you're trying to fix them. Sometimes they are such a pain, but I mean, when everything's working right and you're going out across the desert and the sun's setting and I'm sitting up in my hatch and I'm like, man, this is why I do this.
Wow.
It's just amazing.
That's cool. Now, what's it like riding in a tank?
It's kind of a combination between it floats like a Cadillac and it'll turn like a Civic.
Wow.
But it's noisy, very noisy. Between the track noises and the sounds of the hydraulics and the jet turbine engine. It's not a diesel. It doesn't sound like a big huge diesel rig or a train coming down the road. It sounds like a helicopter running. It's got a turbine.
Did not know that.
I always have a place to dry off my sleeping bag. I've actually made coffee in that hot exhaust.
Wow.
It's awesome. It's something you really don't get anywhere else.
Right.
Yeah, it's a tank. I mean, it doesn't even compare to the older tanks. Don't even compare to this thing because
Now you have a lot of tanks. You're in the Abram. How many models has there been? How many
Of the
progressions?
Abrams?
Yeah, because I think I remember when that came out. Actually,
Well, you probably would. You probably remember it better than me because if I'm not mistaken, the XM1, the first one, came out the year I was born.
wow.
Yeah, she's an old
And
design.
we're not going to ask what year that was.
Oh no, I'm comfortable in my. I'm the youngest guy here, so I'm good.
Oh, that hurt.
Yeah. No, originally it was fielded in '79, so yeah. My wife says I'm old because I was born in the '70s.
Wow.
She was born in the '80s. She was born 1980, '79. Hey, whatever. I just tell her that she married someone who's born in the '70s, so. Just think about that.
In 1964.
I was also born in the 70s, just the other end.
I was born in '64. So
But they made really cool cars back in those days.
Oh yeah.
not that I got to drive any.
70s and 80s, not so much, but definitely
Right,
the 60s.
right. Well, let's veer a little bit over to your music. Now you're a musician, and
Well, I make noises with guitars and my voice. Yes, if that qualifies me as a musician, then absolutely yes.
well, it's like you said one time that once you learn how to do it and you've written a song and you do it, you are a musician.
Yes, yeah, you make it a part of yourself. I think I
Right.
equated it to like going through basic training.
Yeah.
It's like, once you become a basic training, you graduate basic training, you are now a soldier. It's a part of your identity. And no matter how many years you spend away from the force, it's still going to be a part of you.
Right.
The same thing with guitar. Once you get over the initial learning and you play some covers, you write a couple originals, you get up there and perform, you're a musician.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm just really self-deprecating about myself. So.
But and we're gonna. I think get Tim to bring up a commercial here, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna hear an original by Jason Turner. A really great song, and this is actually one of my. I'm a huge fan of like original music and the local music scene, and this is actually no kidding. This is actually one of my favorite original songs.
Oh, really? So this is an original tune?
This is an original.
It's just an original.
Wow. I know a lot of the guests we've had in the past all tend to do cover tunes.
Right. This is going to be
So-
a Jason Turner song.
Wow. All right. Sounds good. So we'll head to a commercial and get things turned around and be back right after this.
Sounds great.
Come join us every week for Open Mic Thursdays at Fountain City Coffee with your host, Brian Mallard. Registration begins at 6:30 Show runs from 7 to 10. Uptown Columbus, where the vibe is.
All right, so this is my one song. I'm actually in the process of the creative process of writing another one. That makes it sound like I actually know what I'm doing. And disclaimer: this song is in no way, shape, or fashion about my wife. It's called "Wasting My Time." I thought our love was so pure, but now I'm feeling so unsure. I really thought you were my friend, but now I walk all alone again. It's over, yeah, I said it, I don't need you anyway. It's just been a waste of my time. It's over, yeah, I'm saying it, I don't need you anyway. It's just been a waste of my time. Just been a waste of my time. And all those memories you have made, they're left with me, and I've got to get them out my mind. Oh God, I gotta get them out my mind. It's over, yeah, I said it, I don't need you anyway. It's just been a waste of my time. It's over, yeah, I'm saying it, I don't need you anyway. It's just been a waste of my time. Just been a waste of my time. This ain't the first time I've been trampled like this, no. I know a broken heart will mend. Someday I'm sure I will find someone else, and this will happen all again. Yeah, this will happen all again. Until then, it's over, yeah, I said it, I don't need you anyway. It's just been a waste of my time. It's over, yeah, I'm saying it, I don't need you anyway. It's just been a waste of my time. Just been a waste of my time. Just been a waste of my time.
All right, there we go. Guys, that's Mr. Jason Turner, and let me go ahead and switch this over here. I'm fine. Go ahead. I'll let Brian and Jason go ahead and get settled back. In the meantime, I was just thinking that first of all, I want to thank Jason. He actually is helping us out at the last minute, and came in and was really helpful. Or we wouldn't have had a guest this week. Hey, in the meantime, we're looking forward to next week. We are going to be talking Way Down Film Festival with Mr. Scott Phillips, and possibly, I talked to him last night, Mr. Shane Pittman may be stopping by.
Oh, very
since,
good, very good.
He is in the motion pictures. But in the meantime, guys, forgive us as I sat there and I looked, and a small portion of Jason's body had disappeared. And so we were working with green screens. I was just like, oh. So I'm going to flip this back to Brian and hope everything is still correctly looking.
We'll find out
there.
very shortly.
Yes, and actually looks great.
Oh, good,
so
good, excellent.
We'll let you guys go ahead and finish up.
So tell me a little bit about that song, Jason. We know that we have, I love your disclaimer that it's not about your wife.
Yes.
Give me a little background.
Brave
on that
man.
song.
Brave man.
Yeah.
I would not say that about my wife in a heartbeat.
Yeah. No, I always have to. Oops. I always have to disclaim it. Actually, it's actually one of the stipulations of me singing this song. Is my wife's like, you've got to make sure people don't think it's about me, and I'm like, it's not about you. No, see, that's the thing. Is I would want to say that my music writing abilities and even poetry back when I used to do the whole poetry thing was centered off of my mental, what do you call it? Wouldn't say mental fitness, but just like my mental reality. It's something like it's how I'm feeling. It's really emotional state, I guess.
Right.
And I was stationed in Germany, and this was post 9/11, like right after 9/11. I actually was in Germany during 9/11, and just okay. Well, we're going to war. I'm in a support platoon. I'm not happy. I'm drinking every night. Not necessarily getting drunk every night, but I'm drinking every night because, Germany. That's what you do.
I heard that. I got a lot of military friends. So.
I think if you make it through Germany without becoming an alcoholic, I think you're good.
They don't use military grade beer.
No, they definitely do not use
Not military grade beer.
Definitely not military grade beer.
So military whiskey would be equivalent to Mad Dog 3030.
No, but and it just came to me. It started off as like a power chord progression because I didn't even have an acoustic guitar at the time. I had my Ibanez electric. And yeah, exactly. that guitar, I swear. If I didn't love it so much, I would have gotten rid of it so long ago because it'll always be more guitar than I can ever handle. I mean, 18 years old, I have $10,000 in my pocket. What do? I'm going to buy me a $950 electric guitar. And I barely started playing.
Wow.
Don't even know what kind of guitar I'm really going to play. I should have just bought a Tele.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. But I'm sitting here just playing around the guitar, and it just came together. And it's progressed and gotten better throughout the years, especially the more I practice it. I'm actually surprised I didn't mess it up. I mean, because every once in a while, it's pretty bad when you mess up your own song, right?
I actually, I don't mean to interrupt you, Jason, but I actually have a question for you. I have a gentleman that's watching us live, and Matt Arnold is watching us live for the first time. And
Hi,
Matt, glad to have you. But he wants to know how long you've been playing the guitar.
Oh, geez, about 21 years, and you'd think I'd be better.
Okay, I'm just passing that question along.
No, really, but I started playing at 16. One of my friends taught me how to play. Actually, it might have been closer to 17, 16. So no, 16 years old, I'm picking up my uncle's guitar. It was a Sigma, by the way.
Ah.
Yeah, it was a Sigma, not a Harmony. The off-brand of Martin. And, I was playing it around, not really know what I'm doing, just making a noise that kind of sounded somewhat pleasing to the ears. And I went from there and went back to California, got a hold of one of my old Cub Scout buddies, and he taught me how to play because, chicks dig guitar.
Chicks, that is a
Chicks
thing.
dig
That's
guitar. That is always the initial motivation.
There you go.
Always the
and
initial
guitar.
motivation. Then after a while of playing guitar, you either give it up because it didn't work, or you
Or times change and the chicks don't dig it anymore.
exactly, but you still stick with it. And now you're stuck with it.
Yeah.
Right,
That's what
yeah,
happens.
yeah.
It's like I married my wife, and yeah, she does love the fact that I play guitar. She loves the fact that she's married to someone who plays guitar, but honestly, I probably didn't need it. So now it's a skill that I learned for a nefarious purpose that now I'm stuck with.
Right. It's better than some things you could be stuck with.
So, question for me. We've had this has been a running question, and we've gotten the gamut of answers. Your very first guitar. What was your very first guitar? We've got everything from a $2 guitar with nylon strings to a vintage Fender Stratocaster. I can't even talk today, guys.
Now, you're talking about the first guitar that was mine, or
the very first thing you picked up?
Oh, the very first thing I picked up.
Yeah.
Oh God! If you're talking like when I was like maybe my kid's age, and I pick up my dad's guitar, and he still has it. It's pretty much just for like sentimental values. You cannot play a chord on this thing because it's so warped. But it was a knockoff off the wall brand. It's not even a Gibson knockoff. It's like an Epiphone knockoff of
a knockoff of a knockoff of a knockoff.
And it was essentially it was a hummingbird. It was like a knockoff Epiphone hummingbird, and it was a beautiful guitar. But my dad, I mean, he'd come home. My dad's a mechanic by trade. He'd been doing it pretty much all his adult life. And he's got big, beefy hands, but I mean, it got to the point with that guitar is like, he would just destroy his hands on this thing because the neck was so warped, just to play a chord on it. So years later, I come into my money, which bought me my Ibanez. I also bought my dad a Martin D1R.
Ooh, nice.
I kick myself every day. It's like, man, I should have bought that guitar for me. No offense, Pop. No offense. Sorry. But that guitar is awesome, and sometimes I'm jelly. Oh, don't get me wrong. I love my Ibs. This is my baby.
And that is a beautiful sounding guitar, too.
You know what? It's kind of like a mid-grade guitar. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like a $1,000 guitar. I think I got it for like $600, which it's expensive for people who don't have money. I understand, and I'm thankful for what I have. But, yeah, it's kind of surprised me on how good this guitar really is.
Yeah.
And it's just sometimes you get lucky.
Yeah. So guitars are like that. You never know. Sometimes you're going to get a really good one. Sometimes you pay more and don't get as good a one.
Yeah, but the first guitar that I ever bought that I ever acquired for myself was that $950 Ibanez RG916, which resides right now in a velvet-lined coffin because she never sees the light of day. Because what am I going to do with the thing?
But how much do you think that thing has appreciated? It's worth today. How much?
Oh, no. She's got nicks. She's got dings. No.
Oh, okay. You said velvet lined. I didn't know if you were.
Well, no. It's I just bought a coffin because coffin cases are really resilient.
Yeah.
Really get the steel-bound one. No, I don't buy things for residual value. I buy something, I'm going to use it. If you look outside and see my truck, see, oh, it's a beautiful, pretty expensive truck. Yeah, it's got nicks, it's got scratches because she's she's an off-road truck. I use it for off-road.
Yeah. Jason uses stuff.
I use things.
Yeah, he put my truck to shame when he pulled up.
I think it's beautiful. It's so beautiful you don't even see the dings.
You know what? Credit to my wife because I gave her the list of what I wanted in a truck. She completely disregarded it and picked up the showroom model. And I was like, yes, honey, it is pretty. Yes, I see the boy climbing all over it. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm sold. Let's get it.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, I tell you what, before we get into where Jason will be in the future, if he's going to do more open mics, if he performs at open mics and so forth, we're going to go to our second set of commercials, and we will be right back
after this.
Hello, I'm Catherine Childry with Let's Vocalize. For over 35 years, I've coached vocalists and groups privately. I also perform vocal workshops training choirs. I'd love the opportunity to show you how direction, discipline, vocal health care, and regular practice can drastically improve you, your group, or your choir's performance. Call me at 706-536-6123 or visit us online at www.letsvocalize.com. I'd love to help you offer your best gift.
Yes, Toddy, the chocolate malt in a can. It's so good hot. It's so good cold.
It hits the spot with young and old.
Yes, toddy pleases everybody. Delicious chocolate malted toddy, made with rich, real milk, not powdered milk.
So come and get it, everybody. It's time to drink your chocolate toddy.
Delicious.
Hello, welcome back to the show. Special guest Jason Turner, and don't forget to go out and get your toddy. Did they still make that, Tim?
Chocolate toddy. No, they don't do that. I just thought it was a really cool commercial.
It's straight off
vintage commercials. I love those.
It's awesome. So, Jason, how do you think you're now? You're sergeant.
Staff sergeant, yeah.
Staff sergeant.
We're all called sergeants. Yeah.
Now, so that means that you bellow a lot, right?
Yeah.
How do you think that does that like add to, take away, train your voice for singing? How does that work?
There's a lot of things involved in that. I always had a big voice, a big, deep, kind of voice that carried through a house, much to my wife's and my mom's annoyance. But I think it was the combination of, I've been singing since I could talk. Like I said, practice, repetition. Right. My first year in the military, actually my first duty station, I was stationed at Fort Hood, and I was a young, broke, soldier living in the barracks, under 21, had no car. And so I would go to the on-post, club, and like 5-6 nights a week, karaoke.
Right.
Oh. Lots of karaoke. And then I started focusing on more on guitar and then more singing and stuff like that. But as far as military is concerned, just getting out there on a run, like on a company run and calling cadence. I mean, I'm a little bit limited to what I can, what cadences I can sing, because they're really cracking down on inappropriate stuff and profanity and
PC police.
Oh gosh. I get it. There's a place for it, but I mean, come on.
Yeah.
The guy. We're rough. We're rough individuals, and we like singing about rough things. So
Right.
Why not? It's funny. It boosts morale, and But no. I've always. It's been a natural thing.
Right.
Like to the point where it's like I'll be like in somewhere, and my wife's like, you're turn down the Sergeant Turner voice, or you shout, you're really loud. It's like, I can't help it, I'm excited. It's usually when the arms start flailing and knocking over stuff. And
that's awesome. And this is something that I remember a friend of mine who actually eventually went into the military back when he was a kid said that he could not be in the military because you see in the movies how the sergeants just screaming in people's faces. He was talking about how he would just crack up because we always found it to be really funny. Of course, we weren't the ones standing in front of the sergeant.
Exactly. You think it's funny, or like, oh, I couldn't be yelled at. I'll just knock him out. Like when I went through basic training, the drill sergeants, even though looking back, I had one drill sergeant. He was like 5 foot, I would say 5'9", chunky dude. But everybody, no matter how, I'm 6'1", and we all lived in fear of that man. It's just the persona that he portrays makes him seem like he's 20 feet tall. And then going through, I'm back in the basic training area right now at Fort Benning, and I see a guy wearing a brown round. I've been in the Army. I'm 37 years old. It's been a long time since I've been through basic training, and it still gives me chills.
Wow.
Seeing a drill sergeant, even if it's a guy I know, you're like, dude, put away the hat. But
they make quite an impression.
They do, and that's the point. Is they're supposed to be like, a drill sergeant is supposed to be one of the most impressive looking people you meet, because that is your first impression of sergeants in the military. So. Yeah.
But they care. It's like
they do. They do.
Yeah, and
they care as much as they're allowed to, or as much as they can stand.
Right.
And sometimes it gets people a little twisted. When they care so much, See, they don't care about the soldier as an individual.
Yeah.
They care about what that soldier is going to have to face after he leaves basic training.
Right.
You know,
Which is a lot in a lot
Yeah.
of cases.
So, guys, enjoy this broadcast because you're seeing the nice side of Jason. I guarantee it probably will be a different side if you go into the service.
I know. Ask any of my soldiers and a few of my colleagues. No, I'm a marshmallow.
I'm sorry. There's no way. What's your 6 foot tall?
Yeah.
I'm not going up calling you a marshmallow. I'm sorry.
But Jason's a nice guy at heart, we can tell. And you've got that with the guitar, the song, and everything. You said you were working on another song. Tell me a little bit.
I am, and like I was explaining before, it's like I'm trying to find a chord progression that doesn't sound like 5 other cover songs that I play, and it's really hard. It really is. It's like, you know, it's like you think it's like, what can I do differently that hasn't been done, but still keep enough to where I'm still trying to get my point across musically. And you know, okay, I'm not afraid of saying who I am influenced by,
Right.
musically, because I think I like really good music.
Mm-hmm. You do, actually. I've seen your covers. You dead on.
Yeah, before we're going that, I was listening. My wife's a vocal teacher, so I tend to listen to that more than anything. And I noticed that you have a kind of a raspy quality when you sing. Mm-hmm. Is that something that is natural, or you developed, or was that something that developed along with your military? In other words, with you raising your voice at certain times, being a sergeant.
You know what? I don't know. That's kind of like the chicken and the egg question.
Yeah.
I don't know what came first. I would assume that if I'd like been involved in like choir as a kid, as opposed to not,
You think it would have changed?
I think I would have had a clearer quality with my voice coming up. But you know, growing up, I was listening to, you know, Alice in Chains,
Yeah.
Nirvana,
Yeah.
you know, where people sound like they ate a sandpaper sandwich and then went out there
screaming.
on stage.
Yeah.
But see, it was so cool. You know, you didn't have to. It wasn't, you know, clean. It was kind of, you know, edgy and you know, unrefined and dirty and. Well, in the case
I
of,
like that. And
in the case of a lot of grunge artists, they actually took grunge to heart and actually showed up like unwashed and greasy hair.
True.
Eddie Vedder.
True. Now my generation, I guess, being the kind of a raspy voice was Joe Cocker.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Joe Cocker and Johnny Cash. You know, Johnny Cash had that.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
It's funny because that's actually something I've thought about before. You have the people with distinctive voices, whether it be raspy or anything else, and then you have the people with very clean voices. And I find that all the people with clean voices just bore me. Like when I hear people, it's the interesting voices is the stuff I like to listen to. Will Dockery shared with me, I think his name was Phil Ox or something like that. Gave me a CD. Said, listen to this guy because he's kind of like whoever. And I listened to it, and the guy's voice was like high-pitched and spotless or whatever. I was like, songs might be good. I just can't hear this.
Yeah.
And then, you know, but then I listened to Johnny Cash or, you know, Joe Cocker and his others. It's like, yeah.
Well, you know, it was really interesting. Before we go ahead and start wrapping this up, I just was bored the other evening, and I actually went on YouTube and was looking. And guys, when I was growing up, the band Journey.
Journey.
And they had, of course, Steve Perry was their original vocalist.
Right.
And when he, you know, went his own way, they have, what's it, Panetta, which is a gentleman that is singing the tunes now. And he sounds extremely similar to Steve Perry.
Right.
But when you listen to them side by side, Panetta is just very smooth, silky, and Steve Perry has got a little rasp to his voice, which is, you know, why people call him the voice.
Right.
I think he's one of the best voices that's come along since I've been alive.
He had amazing, it was like, and it's interesting that you should mention Journey because, you know, Stacy and I do a lot of 10Ks, 5Ks, and half marathons, and in the racing world, they always have a DJ there pumping everybody up before you run, and they always play. What's that song?
Oh, Don't Stop Believing. Yeah, I know. And you know what? I've been As much as I love Journey, I think I got to the point last week to where I was so sick of it because they were playing them on the radio because they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh.
And so it was just constant Journey. And after about the 7th day, I think I was kind of, I remember we used to do a radio. And we hated Christmas for the same thing. It's just only so many times you can hear Jingle Bells. So.
Yeah, that is true.
So, Jason, where can they find you online if somebody wants to get with you and jam, or Nashville wants to buy your song or something?
I really don't have that big of an online presence. Like I said, that would assume that I'm actually a professional and I'm actually trying to do this for a living. I do it for fun. I don't know. Look for me on Facebook. I'm sure I've been tagged in a few things. Look me up. Send me a message. Offline in IRL, as the kids say. Find me every Thursday night at the Fountain City Coffee House. Barring that I'm not in the field or, out of town, I'm there, and I'm usually there every week.
And if I'm not there, he might just be hosting open mic, so you can come see him sing and host.
Yeah, that was so exhausting. I don't know how you do it.
You streamline it after a while.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, I really appreciate you coming on. Great to hear you. Great to talk to you. And I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Tim, do you have anything else you want to add?
No. As I said, just wanted to repeat, join us next week for Way Down Film Festival. We're talking about that. It's coming up. I know, Brian, that's a passion of yours, that you are really interested in that.
Very interested in that. Actually, finding the time to actually do it is a different ball of wax. But I'm still in the absorbing phase. I'm still, learning stuff. So, but that's very exciting to me, the film stuff. It's up there with the music. Maybe even a little ahead of the music. For me as a musician, at least. I love music, always will. Have CDs in my car. Until next time, to see you, I'm Brian Mallard on the show. Special guest Jason Turner.
Thanks, Jason, for coming by. Appreciate it.
Tim Childrey running the thing. And we'll see you next time.
The thing. You guys have a great week.